Hi everyone, Budget Stark here. Thanks again for tuning in. Today's video, we are going to be checking out King Arts 1 in 9th scale die-cast Iron Monger. It's a huge box and I'll show you how big the box is. This is a standard 1 in 6 scale Hot Toys box and it's almost the same width. So you get two of these stacked together to get this 1 in 9th scale Iron Monger. Is massive. The box is absolutely huge. Generally I always start the video showing the figure off, but I just couldn't even fit it into the shot here. But I'm looking forward to it because it has some features that no other figure toy that I think actually has. So I'm looking forward to checking that out. Plus it's die cast. First ever Iron Monger die cast figure. There are a few things I'm definitely interested in checking: how this looks, how it weighs compared to the plastic Hot Toys Iron Monger. Also, the size of it compared to the standard 1 in 9th scale King Arts die-cast range, along with how it is compared to a Hot Toys 1 in 6th scale. Just a quick note, Iron Monger in Hong Kong, it's known as Monger, which is mango, so people in Hong Kong just call it the mango rather than Iron Monger. Just a quick tidbits for you guys there. Let's check out the figure and some aspects of it. Here it is. You get the figure and a couple of rocket foot thrusters. Let me show you those first because this is part of that unique design that I haven't seen before. This is like the audio jack for your iPhone or your headphones, and that slots into the back and that completes the connection, and these at the bottom are LEDs which light up. Nice overall design, and I'll show you how that works because I quite like that. Other parts of this Iron Monger which are a little bit different: LED here, hopefully you can see that. There you go, you can see the LED there. LED on this side as well. And this is actually a laser, very bright and shoots like a laser. Part of the Iron Monger which I always hated was this rocket coming out of the back. I always thought it was a terrible design, but King Arts have included it, and it's not bad. It's not an amazing design. How it's not so smooth for it to come out, but nor was the Hot Toys one. That was a real hassle to get out. At the back here is the wire for that laser, so when you're moving it up and down, just be wary of that wire when you're doing so. Light up head, very nice touch because the button is here, this bit here. So if you press it, comes on and off, and because it's completely flush, nicely designed and hidden into the helmet itself. It has working pistons in pretty much most of the places here, here, at the top here as well, and here. The only place it doesn't is here, where it's actually into the elbow is fixed. This piston is fixed and just disappears into the forearm, so it gives the illusion that the piston moves, but it doesn't really. Similar obviously in design to the Hot Toys one, but a number of differences, and I'll show you what I mean by that. I'm going to show you the back of this. The weathering is different, the paint app is slightly different, and you'll see that when I put them side by side. Articulation is very similar, but the thrusters is the part that I will show you in a moment, and that goes into the back of here. Nice detailing on the arm section actually. I quite like how this has been done. Nice bit of weathering, and the paint app on here is pretty decent. As I said, similarities and differences between this and Hot Toys. Interesting to see how they look next to each other. Let's check out the weight of a few figures to see how the die-cast King Arts 1 in 9th scale Iron Monger compares to them. This is the 1 in 9th scale die-cast King Arts. It weighs around 310 grams. Next we have the Hot Toys Heartbreaker, which is 1 in 6 scale, plastic. That weighs around 410 grams. Next we have the DIECAST Hot Toys Mark 42. That weighs around 850 grams. Next we have this monster, can't even fit it in the shots, the 1 in 6 scale Iron Monger from Hot Toys, plastic obviously. And that weighs in 1,700 and about 45 grams. And finally is this 1 in 9 scale die-cast Iron Monger from King Arts, and the weight of that is 1,970-ish grams. So out of all the figures that I have, that I've shown, it is the heaviest one, including heavier than the 1 in 6 scale version made by Hot Toys, which is plastic. I'm going to show a few parts of this figure which I think are quite interesting. As I said, it's got working pistons at the back, so when you move the elbows, move the arm, the pistons move, as you can see there. The head does a lot of swivel, and as I said, the button to switch on is right at the top here. Switch the light section. The Arc Reactor is the button itself to switch it on and off, which I thought was a really nice design by King Arts. I don't think any other company has done that yet. So you press it to switch it on, press it to switch it off. So they've turned the Arc Reactor into the push button instead of a switch at the back that most people find. You need to open up this section here for the laser button, and this is where the section for the missile slides out from. A little bit awkward, I wouldn't pose it in that. I just prefer it without the missile, to be honest. And looking at the back here, there are working pistons on the bottom here. So if I give that a twist, if I move it, I'm trying to find the right angle to be able to move this to. So that's probably the best way. If you see that there, when you elongate the leg section, the pistons move. It's not a huge amount of movement, but nonetheless working pistons. And at the back here also, the foot has working pistons, and at the bottom, a little bit of spring-loaded section on the feet, and the working piston here on the foot. It has quite a lot of articulation actually on the foot, if you can see that, which is quite unusual for some of these Iron Man related figures. Generally the feet sections don't move around that much. But what I will want to show you is this portion, which is quite unique, as I mentioned. These are thrusters that you also get something very similar to the Hot Toys version, except there are LED lights at the bottom of here. You lift this section up, batteries go in here, on off switch, switch this on. Not much happens here, but once you plug this in, these light up. It's not super bright, but they light up nonetheless. So if you do wish to pose it up, see on the side here, let me switch this light off so it's not so bright. And it is articulated. You can move the thrusters independently on the side however you wish. So nice design, I thought. Something that Hot Toys haven't done, and I don't think any other companies have done, where they use a 3.5mm jack as a power outlet. So let's check out how this looks compared to the Hot Toys Iron Monger standing next to each other. The biggest difference you can easily see between the King Arts and the Hot Toys version is that there is an Obadiah Stane bust or head sculpt in there, that section that fills the body of the Iron Monger, whereas in the King Arts version there is nothing there at all, it's just empty. So they show the inner workings, a little bit of the mechanics involved, which are, as I said, very similar. There are a lot of similarities between between the two Iron Mongers. The paint app is very good. When you compare it next to the Hot Toys one, it's not quite identical. The Hot Toys one, I'm not sure it will show up on the camera here, but there's a more depth to it because it has subtle bits of rusty brown or red on the paint app, whereas the King Arts version is more complete one colour. It's not quite monochrome because it has the textured feel here, the die-cast sections, and the different colorations of the grey and the sort of gunmetal type colours. Whereas the Hot Toys one, I think the paint app on this is one of the best paint apps that they have done for an older figure. Do remember, this Hot Toys Iron Monger is quite a few years old. The engineering of it is pretty good for something several years back, and you can see that how King Arts have changed and modernised a few of the features. Just one thing I also like to add that's a definite difference. Here is a completely covered battery switch, which is something that King Arts are trying to do more regularly. And if you go across to the Hot Toys one, they use the standard, just a plastic cover with a screw and the power switches just there on the side. So that was very typical of all the Iron Man figures, where the switches were not so hidden, so to say, as part of the body, whereas I think King Arts are trying to hide theirs a little bit more. Hot Toys are also doing the same thing on some of the newer die-cast figures, switches being hidden under panels or becoming part of the panels themselves. So let's check out to see how this looks with his hood completely closed down and how it looks sized up compared to other figures. With the hood down, the Hot Toys Iron Monger stands at around 17.5 inches in height, and the King Arts version stands at around 15 inches in height. Big pieces in your display cabinet, definitely, without a doubt. So let's see how the King Arts version looks amongst other figures. Just one thing I noted, the opening mechanism for the centre, if you're new to an Iron Monger, there's a certain way to open them. It's exactly the same for the Hot Toys version. These two side parts slide down like this, This centre Arc Reactor section drops down, and then the head lifts upwards. So that's how also you should reverse it when you're closing it up. But this slides down, don't try and pivot it, it slides like this type of motion, and on here it slides downwards. Just be aware of that. We have the Hot Toys Mark 42 1/6 scale diecast, 1/9 scale King Arts Mark 4 diecast again, and we have the Iron Monger King Arts diecast in the centre, 1/9 scale. You can see quite a large difference in height differences, about 9.5 inches in height for the 1/9 scale Mark 4. Then here is the Iron Monger, again about 15 inches as I said, and then the Hot Toys about 12.5 inches or so. Hopefully that gives you a quick idea of how the Iron Monger looks in comparison to other figures, and how it varies between 1/6 scale and 1/9 scale height. Overall, looks like a nice piece. I like the articulation points, some of the nice features, a little bit different, and I think the design of the Arc Reactor as the push switch button to switch it on, very nice touch there by King Arts. Hope you enjoyed this quick video. Thanks for watching, and catch you all at the next video.